Best in Show came out in 2000, directed by Christopher Guest, starring Fred Willard, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Michael McKean, Christopher Guest himself, and a bunch of other folks from, Christopher Guest's, usual cast from his films. The plot summary is a behind-the-scenes look into the highly competitive and cutthroat world of dog shows through the eyes of a group of ruthless dog owners. So this is a film I saw in 2000 when it came out. I'm a huge Christopher Guest fan. So see all of his films. I saw this one opening weekend and really loved it. And I think what for me this does is really it's a movie about owning a dog and dog owners and how the dog can match the owner or be sort of like the parts of yourself, good or bad, right, get kind of heightened through your dog and through the love of your dog. So I had not owned a dog at this time when I saw this film. I mean, my family dog growing up was still alive, but as a kid, it's very different having a dog in the family as a child where like the parents are taking care of it. You're not really the owner in the same way of actually having a dog, with like my dog now, Oscar. It's a different relationship that you have as a dog owner. And what I think this movie does so well is to show each of these characters, these crazy characters who are taking each of their dogs to be shown in like a Westminster type dog show is the plot of the film there. And just seeing each of these crazy characters and how the dogs bring out different parts of their personalities, again, for better or for worse. There's a couple who is always fighting and very high strung. And there's a scene where the dog or they lose a dog toy, like a Busy Bee dog toy that they think the dog likes. And the dog, like, as you see the dog in the scene, like dog, he doesn't care. Like, it's like, whatever, the toy's got, but they are freaking out, screaming at each other, having to run around and try to find like where we need to find another bee toy because the dog really cares about this. The dog doesn't care about this at all. It's just it's like the dog is sort of this way for them to siphon the their negative relationship feelings that they have between each other, basically. And then Eugene Levy, whose dog wins the show at the end, is a very like kind of put upon, meek and kind of mild mannered guy whose wife, Catherine O'Hara, is, always kind of like embarrassing him and steamrolling over him. And when that dog wins in the end, I think it's giving him that confidence that he kind of needs and feels. And again, so it's like the dog is kind of helping give him a little bit of that. But also this movie is just incredibly funny. Jane Lynch and Fred Willard, especially Jane Lynch. I mean, this movie made her into a star. She's hilarious in this and has had a long career after, really, because of how she, performed so well in this movie. A lot of really funny scenes, but I think there's a lot of things where I remember thinking when I saw this, like, what kind of dog owner am I going to be whenever I do own a dog at some point, because I knew I'm going to want to have one. And I do feel that, your dog does match, the owners do match the dogs for better or for worse. And I think that's what this movie just exemplifies so well, beyond being like, I think Christopher Guest's funniest film and just a, really, really funny movie for the humans. It's not really about the dogs. It's like I said, it's a lot more about the owners, but it's a movie that I still think is very funny. Watch it every couple of years. It's really fun to rewatch for this podcast.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is, I think, Christopher Guest's best in my mind as well. I obviously not watched it earlier when probably you watched it, but watched it maybe the first time a few years ago, and then I watched it since a few more times, and hilarious, love it. And yeah, that is the big takeaway. I would just build on that and say that and you see this in real life too, that humans start looking like their dogs after a point in time, which is just so hilarious to me, but so true. And this is true in this movie as well, at all levels, like emotionally, behaviorally as well, in some ways, perhaps. So yeah, just absolutely love this movie. Heightened. I love the whole competition element as like another layer to it, which kind of takes it to a different place where how, dog parents can get pretty competitive with their dogs.
For
right?
sure.
It doesn't have to be a dog show, but just even in real life, that my dog is the cutest, or my dog does this and, is the best trained, or blah, blah, blah. So there's like this constant competition happening in real life. And so that's fun to see as well. And then not to mention, like you said, all the different weird characters that show up. And that's classic Christopher Guest, right? All these people, I'm always like, where have you plucked these people from?
Oh, yeah.
They're just, but it's the same gang. I just love this whole idea in his movies of this company of actors, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're so comfortable with each other. They have their shorthand. It sort of feels like this, you know, low budget, which it probably is, but, you know, like a play like production where they all just gathered and Christopher Guest said that, okay, today you're going to be this.
Right.
And this person just like enters the body of this weird character and they are that person for their entire day. That's what the movie feels like. So I don't know. I just love imagining how fun would it have been to make something like this, you know?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I love this movie. It was great to see it on your list.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the dogs exemplifying the owners. It reminds me of the opening scenes of 101 Dalmatians, where Pongo's kind of looking out and you see like there's the bulldog and he kind of looks like the owner walking him. It's exactly. Like they took that concept and now just made a movie about it, where the dogs are just very like tertiary characters. Like they're not, it's really about the humans. And I even imagine like if dogs were to see this movie, they would get enjoyment out of it too. Cause I'm sure they make fun of how silly their owners are. Cause like you said, you know, you go to a dog park and there is a little bit of that, like, oh, like, are you a good dog owner? Like my dog's better than your dog. And I get the sense the dogs are just like, we don't care. Like, we just want to play. Like you guys can do your little, like, I'm pompous sort of like, who's the best. They're not into that. So they're almost like laughing at us too. I feel like this would be a movie that if a dog were to make a movie about humans, I think they would do this and just be mocking how silly we are. Cause they don't care, as shown in this movie too. So often like the dogs are just sort of like, look, like, yeah, we'll go on the show. Like, we don't care who wins. Like, we'll just kind of sit here. And the humans are the ones freaking out all the time. So I think, definitely agree with that.
Like a movie concept here, kind of best in show, but really it's about dog owners.
Yeah.
They're the ones competing in the show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The dogs are reluctant judges.
Yeah.
Really care, but you know, because it's a movie, we're going to make them care. So I think there's something here.
Oh, there's a big animated film. Get Illumination on that. It's like you flip it where like the dogs are the judges and they're, okay, maybe we should cut this part out so someone doesn't steal this idea, because I think this could be the next big dog hit movie. But cool. Glad you enjoyed the rewatch on it.
Hey there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I cover a topic around important people, places, events, and moments in our lives, and then explore it through 3 of our favorite movies. Subscribe right now, or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.